Welcome back. Today we're going to do a tying tips edition of bending a Swimmin' Jimmy hook. This is an Andy Sobota pattern, Swimmin' Jimmy, whichever one you go by. I've seen them both ways. But this is an Andy Sobota pattern. The bass guys have just fallen in love with this. I mean, trout fishermen have been around it for a good while, but I mean in the bass world it's just taken off. People love fishing this thing. Not a whole lot of information out there. Given the popularity of the fly, there's not a whole lot of information out there. So I kind of went through a couple different channels over the years trying to figure out exactly how this fly was designed. I missed on a couple because I was just going off of pictures, and then after a while talking to Kelly and looking through some commercial stuff and experimenting with the fly myself. Just through a bunch of different avenues, I was able to, I think, get it to where the original way that Andy Sobota designed this one. Before we go any further, I want to give a little recognition or shout out, whatever it is. If you look over at my right shoulder there, there's a new addition to the tying room there. That's the Blackfoot bull trout from Advanced Taxidermy in Ontario, Canada. Top-notch operation. These guys are phenomenal. Their work is impeccable. I can't say enough good things about them. But moving on to this, like I said, we're going to do a tying tips on bending a Swimmin' Jimmy hook. I had gotten a bunch of questions. I redid a video with the multi-camera setup on the Swimmy Jimmy, and I had some questions because I just did the straight bend, just the 30-degree bend. And I had some questions. Well, isn't it kicked off to the side? Isn't it canted? Whatever it is. The answer that I came to on that is no, it's not. It's just a straight 30-degree bend. I still kick mine to the side a little bit just to give it a little bit of extra wiggle, but you can go whichever way you want. But what we're going to do, I just ordered this one. This came from Ohio. Can't remember the name of the shop. It's eluding me right now, but it came from Ohio. Big bass shop out there. That's on me. I should have had it written down before I started. But anyhow, what we're going to do is we're just going to perform surgery on this, and this is a commercial job. We're just going to take the head off of this so we can get to the actual bend of it. And then we're going to go and bend our own hook, and then I'll show you how I bend mine personally. But we'll just get this in the vise here. And I'm sorry for destroying this work here, but you can see that really aggressive bend on the downward angle right there. There it is from the top view. And then what this is doing, I mean, it's just imitating a dying bait fish, you know, and it's on its side, it's kicking, it's coming back to life, doing whatever it is. But that bend in the front is what gives it its erratic swimming motion, and then with all of the marabou and everything in the back, really just a phenomenal pattern to watch in the water. But anyhow, what we're going to do is I'm just going to take the head off of this, so as I'll speak through this as I'm talking. Or I'll speak through this as I'm working on this, so we can get to the bottom of this head construction here. And we'll take that off. Boy, it came off a lot easier than what I expected. Must have got the right thread there, or must have got the right thread wrap. So there you can see we have just a very subtle downward bend, and we'll look at this from the top view, and you can see that there is no kick to the side or anything like that. It's just a subtle 30-degree bend. It looks like it wasn't even heated up or anything. They probably just took a pair of pliers or threw it in a vise, whatever, threw that bend in it, and then that was it. It looks to be just a 3x long hook. Not a wide gap or anything, just a standard 3x long streamer hook. So there you have what the commercial ones typically come in. I've looked at quite a few of these, both in shops and from stuff that I had ordered in the past, and this is what I came up with. This is what I see most consistently on this pattern is just that really subtle 30-degree bend, nothing kicked off to the side or anything. So there's that. We can put that mystery to rest for now, unless I get more information later on, then I'll wind up shooting another video and correcting myself. I've got it wrong twice in the past, so hopefully the third time's a charm. So now we're going to go into bending, how I bend the Swimmy Jimmy hooks. For the most part now, I do go with just a straight 30-degree bend in and around that area, in and around that ballpark, I should say. You can use the Ahrex 26-degree bends if you want, but the problem that I've seen with that is the bend is probably right about here on the hook, whereas I like it about, double that length. I like having a lot more room to work with that deer hair head and to be able to trim it out properly, to get everything how it should be. The 26-degree bend Ahrex seems to be a little bit short for me, so I still bend my own, and this is how I go about it. So I just take and I'll heat this up. If you've watched the video on bending hooks, I did I think it was a 2/0 there, and then a couple dry fly hooks or whatever, but I just heat this up real quick. Just a regular old Bic lighter, and then I grab a Leatherman. Get that blade out of my way. Grab a Leatherman, and then I have this orientation facing straight down as I'm looking at it, and I just grab this and I turn and I hold for a second or two and stop. There we go. That's not quite as aggressive as I would like it right there, so I'm just going to go back to this. I'm going to grab it one more time, just a little bit more of a tweak, and then we have about what I'm after for that 30-degree bend. Right there's what we have, and I should have had an Ahrex here for comparison, but their bend will start about right there, and it's not quite enough, like I was saying. But another thing that I do, which when I did the original video a couple years back, I found out was a mistake. I take and I kick this just slightly. I mean, you can see just ever so slightly to the left, but the majority of the bend, that's still a little warm, is on that 30-degree downward angle. Just a slight bend. Funny enough though, this wound up leading me to one of my favorite patterns, even though I did it incorrectly at first. The White Girl and the 390U. I bend those things almost 30 degrees to the left and then slightly down, so opposite of what this is, and then the way I trim the hair, it catches the current and it's just so erratic in the water. So I mean, that was one of the I guess good mistakes that led to that pattern for me. But I just wanted to review the Swimmy Jimmy hook bending process, because I have had quite a few questions on this over the years, and was working on trying to get this as accurate as possible. Now with dissecting the commercial one, that takes me back to my days as a kid. That's what me and my cousins Darren and Tim used to do all the time. We'd go into the shops when we were learning, pick patterns out, and we'd cut them apart to figure out what the heck was used to build them, you know. Back before there was YouTube and all that, all you really had was a magazine, and that was about it. But dating myself a little bit there. Anyhow, that's going to wrap this one up. I'm going to do another video on tying the head properly. The first two that I did were sloppy, to say the least. I'm going to go into tying this head properly in a later video, and we'll get that one out for you guys. So thanks as always for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, leave them with me. I'll get back to you, but we'll catch you next week.